ALTBAYS. ALTBAYS.
We've started, mate.
Wait. It's a special day. Gotta crack. Hello? Hi? I gotta crack the cookie. Gotta do it, man. It feels like it. I gotta read it for everyone. There you go. You guys ready? Nothing in life is more important than your family. We're live, ALTBAYS show, brought to you by ALTBAYS.nz. This is very cool because my family is coming to New Zealand for the first time in January. It's been 9 years. They haven't been to New Zealand, so it's gonna be pretty special. And now I'm a bit emotional. I'm gonna read it again. Nothing in life, it's more important than your family. I just opened a beautiful fortune cookie. If you're not watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on maybe Spotify or Apple Podcast, Blue Ginger sent us a beautiful Christmas meal, and they also sent us some fortune cookies, so make sure to check them out. They are lovely friends, part of our family in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and we're very grateful to have them on board. Taylor will put the lower thirds and all the logo on the TV. We are a podcast, we are a show, we entertain people, we make them angry sometimes, we make them cry. Sometimes we don't do nothing to them because they don't watch, but they watch our clips sometimes, which is a good thing. So if you want to check our clips, go on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And you can watch some of our clips there. And sometimes people don't have time to watch the whole thing. So we also make longer clips, like 5 minute, 10 minute, 12-minute clips. And it's on our second channel called ALTBAYS Clips.
ALTBAYS Clips.
How could I? ASMR, it's something that we're considering tapping into. We're gonna get there. If you don't know what ASMR is, Google it now. YouTube, do it. On my left, Mr. Fabian Roberts. Hi.
How you doing?
What an intro, eh?
It was awful. I hated every mode of the intro. It was slow, it was drawn out. The dramatic effect died halfway through the inability to get the fortune out of the cookie.
It was not inability. It was creating some tension, momentum. I'm an artist.
Yeah, I think the embers had died by the time you got there. But anyway, we're here.
Jesus. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. I've been doing a lot of gardening lately. So I've been a bit of a green thumb, or I've actually lost a bit of skin from my fingers. Bought new pig hide gloves. That's pretty exciting.
Good to be on holidays?
Absolutely. I am so glad to be out of school. Mad respect to education, but I'm glad to be at home with my family.
And it's good for the kids as well. Like I always notice that at the end of the terms, the kids already had enough. It's time to stop and enjoy all the things in life, right?
Definitely. Beach trips, walks into town. I think we spent 2 hours at the Mercury Bay Museum today.
Oh, fantastic.
Had a chat to Bex and Isabel there and talked about new exhibitions they're going to be running, the new ones they've already put in place, scavenger hunt for the kids. That was pretty fun.
Shout out to our friends from the Mercury Bay Museum. If you are in the Coromandel and it's one of those rainy days, or if you're waiting for your boats, go check them out, hey.
And not even just a rainy day, it was the hottest point of the day. It would have been 11:30. So hot. Get inside, air conditioned. It's only $2 per person. It's nothing.
Learn something, have some fun.
Yeah, and then get an ice cream afterwards.
Ooh, what a plan, eh? For the holidays.
There's a wonderful person across from us with a beautiful voice, with a great little bit of facial hair going straight down through the chin, and then a thin moustache, very well manicured. Who are we talking to today?
For someone who speaks 7 languages, he's a very patient, polite man.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good. Mr. Peter Augustin. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm happy to be here.
We're glad you're here. We already had such a good conversation. Hey, we could have done 3 shows by the time we started.
Good. Anyhow, I'm not so talker in so perfect English, but I hope everybody understands me.
Oh, man. If they can understand me, Peter, I'm sure they will understand you, man. 100%.
Okay.
How long have you been in New Zealand for?
Just 18 years, actually. Not so long. So I'm not Kiwi. They don't speak in Kiwi language yet. I don't think so I ever learn, because everybody asks me where you come from, and then you say Europe, and then they want to know more and more, and then you tell them, and then they're always a little bit, what? Sometimes I tell the lie, I say Russia, I say different countries, because I know these languages, I could escape from one to the other.
Good.
So it's quite interesting.
So where were you born?
I was born actually in Slovenia, but then I spent all my life actually in Switzerland till I come to New Zealand. I was already oldish. I was already 54 when I come here.
Oh, sorry.
It is. It is. I was a little bit already in pension, actually, a little bit early because I have an accident. So I come here because I know New Zealand, actually, from before. I was here first time 1980 for 6 months. I traveled around on the world, and New Zealand was one stop where I did, because I know some people from before. They work like students in my a hotel where I work. I was working also in the hospitality and tourism. So I met these students, funny one, with them Kiwi language, and they invite me, you must come to New Zealand. It's such a beautiful country, and really it is. I love New Zealand. I come to New Zealand just because I love New Zealand. I love the country. I love also the people. They when I was here in 1980s, was for me everything new, and everything was so different to Europe. First Christmas and the swimming pool outside on the farm. That was amazing. So I do love it, New Zealand.
How is the tradition, like the Christmas tradition in Slovenia?
Tradition is a little bit different than in New Zealand. Definitely, we have Christmas time. Christmas Eve is 24th in the evening, and then we have a lovely dinner. And in this time, when I was young, we was going to the church and midnight mass.
The midnight mass.
Yes. And you must know singing, of course. You must sing, because if you don't sing, you don't get a present. And when we come from the church home, we get always something like a sausage and something small meal again. Again, you eat all the time. And then you can open the present after them. So not next day in the morning. Next day in the morning you can sleep longer, and then you go walk, eat more, and drink more. So yeah, it's different, but very traditional. I mean, we have sometimes has not so much to do with the Catholic Church. Go very back before Catholic came to Slovenia. Where it's like a, how can I say? Help me. Yeah, pagan. Mm-hmm. We believe in sun god and all these nature things. So what we have also in spring, we have a special one city is still there. It's about few thousand-year-old tradition. The whole world come there. They say goodbye to the winter. So the farmers come to the city with this crazy clothes, with the cows, all the story and bells and music in 3 days. Amazing. So they come, people, they have onions and potatoes, and the farmer, really. So that is what I want to say in Slovenia. People love these old traditions.
It's a bit of like a folklore, what you're saying.
Yes. We have also own music, and world-known Ausenic music is a polka music, something like this, what I know here. But it's a very old music, a typical Slovenian music. It's not Austria, even if it's a little bit similar, because we were so long under the Austrian Imperium. Slovenia is such a small country.
Oh, wow.
Yes, just 2 million people. And half of Switzerland land, you know. So it's very important is for such a small country, they keep the language. We are even in the pen club, that is a writers and linguistic language, because the language stays so long. It's not normal. Even everybody was going through Slovenia, the Turks, the Austrian Imperium, Italian, and the Hungarian, Cossacks, and everybody was through this small country.
And the people kept the language alive.
They did.
What other languages are spoken in Slovenia?
But in Slovenia, it depends where you live, where you grow up. Everybody, if you live on Austrian, like I grew up on corner on the Austria border, my third language was, in this time, German. And if you're on the Hungarian border, then you learn a second language or third language, Hungarian, and then is Italian. We have Italy, and then we have Croatia. But in this time, when I was young, I was under Yugoslavia. This was a big country under the Tito. We all must learn a second language. First language was Slovenian, of course, for me. Then was Serbo-Croatian, and then was a German, because I live on the border. So I learned 3 languages, and then in high school you learn another 1 or 2. First we have a little bit Russian for a while, but then was a change. You can choose from English to French. So you have possibility.
Isn't it interesting, Fabian, how Europeans would usually speak 2, 3 languages? It's quite a common thing.
It's pretty amazing. We've had 2 Austrian international girls live with us, 2019 and 20. Oh, sorry, 2000. Goodness, yeah, 19 and 2020, and they come away and they're learning Spanish. They're speaking English and coming to an English-speaking country. Their German is wonderful, and they know a bit of Italian and a bit of French.
Yeah.
I suppose the idea is that they can get on a train and within 4 hours they're in a completely different country.
Yeah, it is, and it's also nice.
Sushi's here under the table. That's why we're having some fun.
Today is very important for the young people. They speak languages, actually. You see, like in Switzerland, they change. First was just German, depends where you are, in which canton in Switzerland. They have also 4 languages official. But then as a second language, they start to teach kids English, become like a first language for the study in the schools today. But before not. Before you must learn French. If you're in German canton is like a province in Switzerland. Switzerland has 22 cantons. And so they have, each canton has a own law also. And the languages, you have a German language, of course, Italian when you're border, and French and German. And then you have Rätoromansch, that is number 4. But it's not speakity language like you speak this every day and all the time. But after so many years, they start to learn kids in the school, especially if they are in Graubünden. This is one of the canton. Then they start to learn Rätoromansch. It's actually a little bit more exclusive if you learn this Rätoromansch. Like was a time where everybody wanted to learn Russians or whatever, because it was in. And young people, they love this. They must.
That's amazing. What a great introduction. I was talking to a good friend last week, and he's Maori. He does beautiful aerial images with his drone. And we were saying how not that long ago, Maori people could not speak Maori in New Zealand. And he was saying how upsetting it is when he looks up to his parents, uncles and aunties, like that they lived a moment in life that it was hard to find your identity.
Yeah.
Because you connect so much with the language, it relates to where you're from. And now we're talking to you, someone who obviously has an official, a first language, but you have this room, like this room full of, because the way that I see it is when you speak another language, you kind of open your vision a little bit.
Yeah.
Things have a +1 meaning, like everything adds a new word, and that kind of like stretches your brain, because then you can play with sounds. That's why for me sometimes I'm copying Kiwis without even realizing, but just because of the melody, it's just a simple word for most of them, but I just found it fascinating. So I imagine that the more you add there, that also affects your creativity as an artist?
Definitely. I must say, language definitely was my priority with the painting also. Especially I paint since I was born. I think so. I was born with a brush. However,
that must have been very painful coming out.
But still I work all the time. I paint. My father, when he was still alive before he died, with 42, he was he says, I don't want you paint. He don't want it. Not because he was not interested of art. He was a musiker. He played any instrument you can imagine. And my mother was a singer, a folklore singer. We was artistic family. I was growing up in this thing. But he says, "Is no money in art. You will be not artist. Look your uncle, but he has nothing." So you see, this was a little bit different for me. It was shocking, but then. Yes, I always paint in the school and everywhere. I just love it, like singing. Like everybody loves something, like you love gardening.
In no way, I sort of wonder, was there a way where your father saying you'll not be an artist, did any sort of teenage angst go, fuck off, I'm going to be an artist then? Did that help inspire? Was there any sort of reverse psychology effect of that? Or were you truly already engaged in it behind his back when you were preteen?
No, I think I just, my mother support me, so I just quite ignore him.
Just ignore
because we was 6 kids, actually, 6 boy and 1 girl.
Oh.
So it was not so easy, so I just ignore him because he was not so interested in me anyhow, just about this, when he say you will be artist, because he don't want it. But then he died, I'm sorry. But after them was no question to do art, whatever, and love music, like we love music. We have everybody of us 6 guys, everybody, we don't choose what you play. He say, you play this, you play this, you play this. That was it. So you see, it was a little bit different in this time, but that was in 1960 when he died. So it was a different time.
Do your siblings still play instruments as well? Did they keep going?
They are, sadly, 4 of them are dead already.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
But there was one, the oldest one, he played trumpet, like he loved such more, the Armstrong music.
As you do.
Yeah. He was this. And then second one, and then the youngest one, he liked guitar. He was copied Elvis Presley all the time. All the time. I could not listen to this, and I still don't like it. I'm sorry. But that was maybe because him. And me, I was a piano. I should play piano. I did for a while, but then when he died, was a tradition in Slovenia. We have a lot of old traditions. Yeah. You cannot play music in the house for 1 year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No music. What? 1 year, no music, nothing. And my mother must be 1 year in the black clothes. You see, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Peter, wow, I was thinking about a question, and then after you said it, it's perfect. You mentioned losing quite a lot of people in your life, like very, very important, close to you. Like, how is your relationship with grief? Like, as an artist, like, how do you process? Was it always different depending to your connection to each person? Do you have a way of like processing things?
You do. You have, you find yourself grieving time with music. I listen a lot to the music, and yes, you cry. I'm very sensitive. I think 99% Slovenian, they're very sensitive people. I mean, they cry. Even the men. It's not just like a man don't cry. That's not true. And that is a lie. They should cry, especially boys. You cannot say that you don't cry because you're a boy. That is wrong. So we are a very sensitive country, and people love to cry. And if somebody dies, it's just always sad because it's losing somebody. It's sad. However, it's a family or it's not family, whatever. If you know the person especially, but it's a. Everything is sad when you lose. Even I lost my dog a few years ago, and I was really, really sad for a long time. You see, that's the point.
Well, being so... Oh, you go.
I just wanted to jump on, because the idea of no music and your mother in black for a year, with the funeral service, could you have songs and music as a live celebration in that environment?
Oh, no. That was just like, because my father was... crazy man. He was in any club what was possible. He was in fireman, he was in music and tambourine.
Just a bit forward, please. The chair.
tambourine and everything. So he was. There was a lot of music there, but it was just like a tambourine club and how I say trombones and all this thing wherever he was, but not like you have here nice music of somebody. We don't have this in this time. That was 1960. So yeah, it was quite big funeral, but was not like here you have a special music for somebody, because but he has his music, all his thing what he play in his life.
It's interesting because you talked about your mother wearing black. When my father died when I was 10, and I'm the youngest of 6, and my mother, to get out of her grief after a year or so, maybe even 2 years, she started doing a music degree just to get out of the cycle of working as a nurse, looking after lots of kids at home. She went part-time and studied a music degree at Wintec in Hamilton.
Lovely.
And eventually she did songwriting through that. And she's written, I think she's still writing a mass because she's Catholic in that regard. But she wrote a couple of songs about Dad and her time with Dad. Some songs about regret, some songs about saying goodbye.
Yes.
One of her songs was about there are no words. And you find out someone's passed away or a person's child.
Lovely.
And it's all she can ever write in a car is dear such and such, there are no words, we love you, just we're here. And that's all it can really be, because in that grief moment, but she wrote a beautiful song about there being no words, and the song just kills. And I thought, looking back at that, going, that's how my mum grieved and processed it. She wrote beautiful music, which is the opposite of no music and shutting down.
Yes.
She pushed her way out.
That's lovely, because then you see it. Her feeling was there in the music and his writing.
And I appreciate their relationship more because I can see how deep it was.
Yeah.
In the little things about hand gestures she writes about, or the dropping off a coffee at work, or just coming home with a chocolate and I got to go again, sweetie, but that's it. Those little moments that you hear about that I was little, I didn't see them, I didn't appreciate them at the time.
Yeah. But I think there's, you say it's no words when you say it and you love somebody and lost somebody. It's no words. It's not why. It's no words. That's why actually I leave Catholic Church. Nothing wrong with the church. I mean, one way. But I mean, because that's his tradition. But why this question, if somebody die in your closer person, whatever, then you ask why, because this person was so good and everything, you were so nice, I was not bad person, whatever, why he must die so young? You see, that is the questions, this no words is the best things and no questions,
It's a nice way of processing that information, right?
And then, was it Nick Barry, the artist, I read the other day?
Yeah.
And as you said before about, I think before the show we spoke, Peter, about your ability to communicate your emotions and your ideas in art, and having your own space to do it is so much more meaningful than...
It is.
And of course, some people don't know how to cope with grief, and all they try and do is say, I'm there, and what can I do, and can I make a cup of tea, and they won't stop speaking, like I'm doing right now. Just getting stuck in that.
I think that's
zone.
very good. I must tell you this, your art, if you want to be artist and you love art, I live for art and I love art. And my paintings, they are not for just matching your carpet, whatever. It's from me, it's from inside, my feelings, my emotion, is music, is everything is there in my painting. And I think people should find something. My paintings are characterful. You must find yourself. If you like it, you see this every morning and you must love it. I have also customers or clients, how can I say, they want a painting and they really want it, but they was, money is too much, whatever. But I was thinking, on the end, I say, look, I'm sorry, I don't sell you this. It's not for sale. Because there was not a connection with the painting. And I was thinking, I don't want to give my painting to a person like this. Just because they don't see the art, they don't see the work, they don't feel nothing. So why should I give my painting to somebody who has no feeling and nothing in the house that is empty and cold?
It takes a part of you, right? When someone buys your art or consumes what you produce, they're taking his life.
Yes, of course. Of course. Some people, they ask me sometimes, I'm not sad when you sell some work, what you make very special and good, whatever. No, if I see the person who love it, I think I'm happy. I give something to this person. You know, I have a client also, she bought, in Switzerland now I talk about, she bought a painting for me, I don't know why, but it was she was very mystery woman. And then she buy the painting, quite expensive one, and after months later, I get a book about life from this person. And she write on the first page, she write, Peter, I must thank you so much because your painting was helping me over a very, very bad time. So you see, that is sometimes art is very important for everybody, I think so. I think so.
Peter, you the way that you talk about your art, it really shows an openness, like a way that you found to express yourself, and you sound very comfortable with it. And when I saw some of the pictures and of your paintings and the prints, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of expression. There's a lot of you putting yourself out there. And then you were mentioning before, I just want to make a connection with something you mentioned before, of growing up in a place that was actually supporting men to be men and cry if they have to cry, and feel the emotions that if they have to feel the emotion.
Definitely.
Do you feel like there's that element that helped you with that, of being in a comfortable place, like more like going back to a bit of the culture of the country? Do you feel like that really helped, supported you to be comfortable with yourself? Because sometimes you see the opposites. You see artists creating beautiful stuff, but like from a place of pain, of sorrow. Maybe they wanted to be something that they were not allowed to, and they end up creating beautiful art, but it's painful. Like you see that it's a heavy piece because it's a way of putting themselves out there.
Yeah, I don't try to paint something what is sad, or somebody find something negative in the painting or something sadness. There are some paintings that may be a little bit sad because the colors are most important in any person's life. Everybody has own color. You like the black color or not, you see? That's the point. The colors are so important for the people. So what I try to do, I give you also the therapy in Switzerland with the colors for the people, and some people, they are scared from black color. So I take the hand, I say, touch the color, and now you feel it, everything is important. And you know, what I get from Slovenia things because I live so young, I don't live because was something not good in Yugoslavia and this time. I love Tito, actually. So we have a good jeunesse when we was young, and the school was very good. So I mean, I was proud of this. And when I leave Yugoslavia and this time from Slovenia to Switzerland and start my new life, I was not going there because money. I was going there because I want to learn different life, different people, different life. But if you go to the different country, my mother was telling me, she gave me actually this fortezza, you know, in Italian, the strongness. She tell me, never forget, you are not nothing. You have your name. So be strong, you know. You have a name, you are somebody in this cosmos, we are just a little part, but you are one of those parts. So a lot of people, they should know this. I think so.
Do you feel like you are a part of this universe, Mr. Roberts? You're a bit egocentric, man.
As far as I understand, I am. I have no evidence to the contrary. Something I've picked up on, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way. So in teaching an art subject, in teaching music or teaching drama or anything in that space, I even taught dance last year.
Good.
A lot of it was to do with expression, and the ways that these are advertised are fun, social development, your confidence, your engagement, expression of ideas and creativity. But they are not necessarily always advertised as academic, career building, vocational pathways.
Yeah, wow.
And so much of what you've spoken about here today has been, it allowed you to be authentic to yourself.
Yes.
And you can approach the world in a way that is meaningful to you, and you've been fortunate to have the skill and mental acuity to navigate this world and produce such beautiful works. But I wonder if you could delve into the business side of it. How do you make this thing that you are a business that's allowed you to travel across the world and be a comfortable person that's aged and gone through going, yes, I did it. I was myself and I did it. But there must have been a business mind behind it to go, I got to make sure I can tick that box so I can get that plane ticket. Or
I can tell you something. This is not, I was born as an artist, definitely, and I am artist. But my travels around the world, I was working very hard because I was making, next to my art, I was making different school. I was making a travel agency. I was guide for to Europe and everywhere because the languages, and I did work in how you call this, gastronomy, hospitality, and tourism. So I was working also sometime in the schools, private schools, and I was working also with the kids. They was in hospital. They was dying. You know, that's a very difficult job. And so they talk to you
palliative care, is that
yes.
right? Yeah.
And they talk about it and everything. And you must go through that. You must be for them there. So, I mean, you must have... I work very hard, I must tell you honestly. So I can say 24 hours. I have a restaurant, I have a hotels, I have a travel agent, I have a lot of things. But you know, the point is, I use this money. I don't keep it. So I'm not rich. You can see this. I just use this money for my life, for my traveling, to learn my art, to go to Indonesia and other countries, to learn them art, what they have, and the language and everything. That was very important for me. That was most important for me, definitely, in my life, art and to meet people and to go away.
I love the color therapy that you said, that you do that with people.
That was a people, they was not sick. Don't misunderstood me. That is, I was not a doctor or whatever. I was just artist, and the people, they come to me because they have a difficulty in their life. I have a bankiers, I have a directors, I have people that was in politics and everything. They have just difficulty to find themselves, you know, somewhere. They have a difficulty to understand another people. And that is the colors, and that's what they can go through. First, they must learn the colors. You must love the colors. You must see the dandelions in the spring. How beautiful is that? So that is what they learn with me. They don't make some therapy of medical stories. This was just connection to the colors, connection to talk. They must talk. Some people, they talk to me through these colors. They was crying. Some they was laughing. That was it. And after a few months, they was totally different personality. They could not hug somebody. I teach them how to hug friends or mother or father. Have a woman, she never hugged her father. Can you imagine? She was a 40. This is amazing. Wow. I come from country, especially in Slovenia, the people love to hug each other. And then they say, hello, here you are, you look great. Even if it's maybe not true, but still. They will tell you this.
Slovenia, they're liars. Yep.
They are liars. They are liars. They tell me all the time how good you're looking. And my mother was telling me all the time when I come from Switzerland, visit her, did you not eat? You didn't. Yes.
Man, Taylor's mom says that everybody's beautiful.
Yes, it is. We are all beautiful, each one in a different way. The paints, you can sing, paint, whatever. Your personality of writer, to be writer, I try to be a writer too. I hope I write my book till I die. So that's why I don't want to finish it. Everybody says, when you want to finish the book? I say, wow, I still have time. Because that's the point, and you must take the time.
Pete, must be interesting because you traveled and you lived in countries that wealth, it's a big thing. Like Switzerland is quite a powerful country, a lot of places in Europe. And now you're telling us that a lot of the work that you were doing with this basic, beautiful thing of touching colors, of accepting them, bringing them to your life and, you know, getting more bringing more kindness to your life and more passion. Like, how is that for you to look at things and see, wow, like there's a world going after more wealth, more power, and then the little things, the special things, sometimes we drop the ball and we don't pay too much attention for them.
That is sad, actually, that people don't make attention to the another person next to them or to the life personally. I must say, is when I was traveling, you said that's come from Switzerland, such a rich country, whatever. But I was working with people. They are clochard. You know what is clochard? No. Clochard, that's these people. They live in France under the bridge. And they call them clochards. They're artists. So I work with a lot of people. They was poor. And they were still painters. They were still interesting people. They could sing, they could write poetry and everything. You don't believe me? But I try to help them also. I make exhibitions for them in Switzerland when I could. Of course, you need connections and collect the money and everything to make something for somebody from different countries. I make for Turkish artists, they was also like clochards, and I make the exhibition, and after them also I make for somebody book, first page, whatever. And I become honorary doctor in Turkish university.
Yeah.
I never use this because I think I don't deserve to be to have this title. But I was proud because I helped them, and they was very happy. They invite me. They never forget me. So to go from rich country to these poor countries in my travels, I was in all different levels of richness and poverty, and I could live with us. You know, I grow in Slovenia. We go through all these things in after the Second War. So I must say, we learn to have a different relationships to food. You know, like Tito was saying, we don't have bananas, but we have plenty of apples. So my mother was telling also, we don't have this, but we have a lot of potatoes, and I can make 110 different dishes with the potatoes.
Was it a long time of struggle in Slovenia in the post-war?
After the post-war, yes, was very difficult. Was nothing there. I mean, the Second War was, I think, for everyone. Every country has problems to become developed again or build something on, like families or cities, whatever. So I think this was for everyone was a quite big disaster. So I cannot say the Russian was better or Germans they was better or who was worse.
Everybody lost, eh?
Who was worse? Everybody lost people. You know, that's the point. So I think if the people don't see this, then I think they don't know what was a Second War, what was going on. They have no idea.
And how frustrating it is to see things haven't stopped, there are more conflicts, like we don't seem to learn from history.
We don't learn nothing. It's just repeat. I think humans are not built to be forever here anyhow, but they are not, how can I say, they don't understand maybe that nothing is forever, and life is so short for everyone. It's not just somebody lives longer just because he has the money. The point is that people should learn to see themselves first every morning in a mirror and see them, say, hello, that's me, give me a smile. And then you can understand also the other people and give the love and take the love. That's the point. They don't learn really so much. You can go any country on the world. If you go to Arabia or America, whatever, was also civil wars in this time. Everywhere is a war, was war, and people, I don't think so, they learn so much, like now what's happened again in Ukraine and all these different countries. It's continually there, and who, I think, I don't should say this, but I give the fault, actually, this rich companies, they are on the top of everything, and they have to say, that is it. That is very sad. Nobody can stop.
Yeah, they have a big influence on human behavior, right?
Sad.
On the mass behavior, yeah.
It is very sad, actually. I mean, the life should be beautiful. That's what everybody wants.
It's really interesting how you talked about you should be able to see yourself in the mirror every day and know yourself. And I think a lot of the...
Give a smile to yourself.
That'll be nice too, but I suppose a lot of the young people these days, that it probably includes my generation, I'm 31, and going down to, say, kids I've seen in 12-year-olds, they're seeing themselves is not for themselves. On a phone mirror, it'll be this filter to make them look this poutier or redder in the lips, and they'll smile, and there'll be a backdrop as ornate as the one behind me, or far less ostentatious. And their whole image is not for themselves. It's to try and portray something that isn't themselves.
That's wrong. That is wrong.
It's surreal and it's sad because they don't do it once. They might do it 100 times that day.
Yeah.
And that's 100 misrepresentations of their own reality. And it's, to me, it's a waste of time and it's detrimental. Kick a ball.
Yeah.
Paint something. Play an instrument. Get in an argument.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
the life you could live.
I think it's very sad today. It is very sad. It's very sad today. The people don't see seasons. They don't see the spring, summer, autumn, winter, whatever. They don't see the color of life. They don't see nothing because the life is so fast. Everything goes so crazy quick. When you think about when the first train come in Europe and then today what we are flying to the moon, whatever, it's such a tempo of life is changed. That's changed so much. But we still go with the years. We become older or not older, whatever. But that's, some people, they are lucky, they see that, some they don't. But that's to say they don't see how much love they can give to the neighbors, to the next one, and how they take it from the nature. That's what I'm sad about this. Because young people, they don't, some young kids, your kids, they know what is a cow and a sheep and grass. And
my kids will lie down in the grass and find bugs. So I'm pretty happy there. Or lie on the beach.
That's very good.
They'll come home covered in sand.
That's good. That's good.
There's an interesting point that you talked about with knowing the seasons. At our school, at Mercury Bay Area School here in Whitianga, there's a beautiful tree near the staff room, and there's some low concrete walls that may have been bashed out before. And there's a beautiful tree there, and every time I go past it from the winter, I'm looking for those buds. I'm looking for the first blossom. I'm looking for the first leaves. And I always point it out when I circle that in duty, just being aware if people need me. I'm wearing a reflective vest and I'm on duty. And every group of students say, look at this. Is this going to be the first one? Is this going to be and they look up and go, oh, there's a tree above us. And they're not aware that they're under a tree.
That's
and then I'll point, oh, look at the blossoms. They go, oh, yeah. And yet maybe that little moment where I pointed it out, maybe that'll make a difference. And every time on duty, I'll point at that bloody blossom.
Did.
Quite a complicated time in life, isn't it, to be a teenager?
I'm sorry we got to...
Oh, no. I want to jump on the wagon of... I just want to defend the youth for a little bit.
Yeah,
you guys are bashing it. So I'm like, I got to be the devil's advocate. Now, what I think about the thing with filters and kids using the device, because we will always not criticize, but we will always idolize the past. And then, things always change. Like we had this conversation about the vinyl, because sometimes we become like, oh, the vinyl, good old times that we had the vinyls. But like, what happened when they started the vinyls and then people were saying, why do we have recorded music now? Even with books, I read some articles that people would say, books, what are we doing? It's going to stop us from thinking and storing information. Why are we using books? So in a way, I know that it's a bit weird because the cell phone involves so many other things. But like when I see kids putting filters on their pictures, I imagine like masks, tribal people like painting, like making paintings and dancing around. It's a completely different way. But I think there's also an appreciation there. I know what you're going to say. No, I don't know what you're going to say. But because you're unpredictable. But I try to find some value there as well, because want us or not, it's already changed.
It is, definitely. I think with this mobile and all this thing, there should be just certain time you can use this. I think that is they must learn mathematics in the school. They must go with the time because everything change, everything is different, and the kids must be interesting of computer and all the stuff, definitely. But they should have also the time. That's what I blame the parents or families. They should have a time for the kids. When you have a kids, then you must take the time for them too. And tell, look, now you have 2 hours time for do the computer, and then we do this and this and this. I don't want to teach them because I don't have kids. But I'm married with the art. You see, that's the point. And my partner, of course. But I mean, the point
Your
is...
second period, you heard that, eh?
The point is, today I have a lot of nephews and kids in my family, my brothers and sisters, they all have a lot of kids. So I saw how they love these computers. But I mean, it's a time to give them, also teach them another things, like where the milk come from, for example. You know, that's the point. Some kids, they have no idea. The cows, from the cows or whatever. You know what I mean? This is the point where the time they should go with the civilization and the modernism, like I call modernism, is from art. But still, they should also take the time for those old things, you know, like go in garden or go in with a cow and see the cow and whatever.
I love it. It's the second time today I have heard the kids need to know where milk comes from.
Yeah.
You know, and you ask them. They're the second person who's brought that up to me today.
Okay.
Oh, kids, don't drink milk. Drink almond milk.
Yeah,
Go check where almond milk comes from.
Oh my God.
And almond milk being older than cow's milk. I believe that's the case. Almond milk's been around longer.
Could be.
Well, the
think-
cheese is 13th century, right? The Genghis Khan Empire.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah. The warriors, Genghis Khan warriors. They invented cheese. Don't check me on that internet. Go do your own
Internet,
research.
can you please check him on that?
But they, yeah, because they had it to. It was an easy way to store the food, and like it was a rich, kind of like.
Gorgonzola?
Something to take with you, like easy that would keep you full and big. They were all big warriors, so there you go.
Yeah, but that is what the Tartar, Genghis Khan come also with the Tartar story. Everybody loves the raw meat or not.
There
You
go,
see,
yes.
that was also, he has was no time to cook the thing, so they put the meat under the saddle and run and they go on the war, and then was somewhere finished, and then they eat this very,
Sliced
very
beef, yeah.
sliced beef.
Genghis Khan, man, had kids everywhere around the world. You still find lineages of Genghis Khan.
You know, Genghis Khan. You know also the song Genghis Khan, Genghis Khan. You know
That was the band. There was a band, Genghis Khan,
Bonnie
right?
and M.
Boney M, is it?
That's very old. You don't know this because that's so old.
Boney M do a nice Christmas album.
Yes, and
They
they
do a
have
fun
also
one.
Genghis Khan song.
I need to look it up.
Is there anyone looking up the information that we said to make sure that we're right? No, you guys are just on TikTok. Okay, cool.
Just
Peter is checking. Look at that, man.
Just to
He'll
perform.
check factors.
I know he is a very good in
Or
this
some,
computer things.
some descarrego and a perform an exorcism on your critique, Mr. Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
Going
good.
back to that technology thing, the idea of the filters, what I would love, and I don't have the ability or knowledge, but how. But if I could teach my students how to build and design their filters, then for me, I'd be all for it. If they were genuine, if students were genuinely making, coding, designing, experimenting with the technology behind the swipe left, swipe right, click, enlarge, because they're
so
just
clever.
users. They're not creators. They're an audience. They're paying someone else by touching it. They're not being. They don't have any
Creative enough.
agency in that.
App developers. That's what we
Yeah,
need.
and so for me, if kids are going to use devices, that time should be used, yes, for fun and recreation, but they should know what they're doing. So if I taught kids to do gaming, and we did Xbox games for a course, I would have to do stats of how good they're getting at those skills, and how good their hand-eye coordination is, and their ability to do kill shots, headshots, or something, and use that to get something more out of it than just using it as an audience member.
Yeah, but that's is it. They should use the brain.
Use the brain.
That's how, yes, themselves. Not just everything is written, everything is on a computer. They don't need to read a book. I love books, but I mean, they don't read us. They cannot read the books. they cannot read the books. They cannot even count together 2 and 2 is 4, whatever, you know. I still do it by hand, but still, but I'm old. But I mean, they have a problem today to count together.
Peter, they're gonna throw rocks at our window, man. The skate park is just there.
Yeah.
They have the speakers very loud, listening to this podcast while skating, and they got the.
That's the thing.
You are very optimistic. You are very optimistic.
Yes.
Hey, I've got a
They'll kill
fortune.
me.
I've got a fortune cookie to lighten the mood to get us out of the teenage landscape.
Yeah.
Wait. Drum roll. Nice.
Good.
Your
Very
ability to juggle tasks will take you far.
good. Ooh.
It's a bit.
Your ability to juggle tasks will take you far.
Oh, la
Will it
la.
though?
I suppose the idea is not a literal juggle. I mean, you know,
Where's the drums again? Thank you, Peter.
No, tell me.
Now he's got to do it.
No, I don't.
No.
You
We're
too.
gonna do that soon. Let's save that. Let's give it a few minutes for that one. Make it special. What does it take to become an elected member of the? How do I say?
Academy of Fine Art.
Academy of Fine Arts.
interrupt question.
Oh my God.
What is the Academy of Fine Arts? Please,
There you
I
go.
do not know.
That's better.
Academy of Fine Arts is a New Zealand institution. Actually, is built start in Wellington, and that is maybe 70 years or 80 years ago. It's quite very old. What is Academy is a group of everybody can be member, but then you have very good artists that chose the people they go into it, and if they chose the quality, the skill, whatever they do, so it's like a selections, and they don't say you're not artist. They just take you, but they just try to find out how far you are. What is your skill? Is your talent, or is you have something special? You must be something special, like me, whatever. But I mean, the academy is just like in Europe is a little bit more than here. In Academy of Fine Art, you must have university academy to be artist. That you must have it. Then you can join the academy. If you don't have this, you cannot do it. New Zealand is a little bit easier.
We have an interjection over here.
140 years old.
Oh, 140 years. I'm
140
sorry.
years
I'm not so far. You see, I'm
Thank
just
you.
forgettable.
How do you see that condition? Do you agree with a degree being necessary to be part of a selective group of people?
I don't think so. Look, in Europe, when you're an artist, you have they don't judge you of your diploma or your if you are a member of Academy of Fine Arts, whatever. They judge you mostly of your art things, your work, what you do. That is it. That was before also when you go back to France, whatever, or Brazil. Was just different things, different seeing the art. It's not just like a diploma, or today every student can have a diploma of, can be president in America. But that is different things, and art is different. Art must be seen, art must be loved, and the people, they are the judge. The people are judges, you know, that's the point. That's what I think. So academy is just like a help the artist to show the works and give them also a little bit more touch of you know, you are something special or you are good, recognition, whatever, recognized you also, and put you a little bit, upgrade you in this way, you know. That is the point.
I've got a sort of a long question to ask. And say, in education in New Zealand, Aotearoa, we have our NCA art, and the students have a portfolio that comes at the end. You're probably familiar with the idea. The students work for 6 to 7 months, and they study art. They have artist models, so they'll study a particular artist from history and another artist from history, and the students learn about that, and they extract ideas from those other artists, and then they put it into their own, and they develop a portfolio where their ideas evolve, their integration of the other artists evolve. They do that whole portfolio. Then the next year they do different artists at different levels of depth and detail. Third year they do next layer of artists. At what point, as
They find themselves?
a defined artist, do you define yourself against your own portfolio and your development of yourself, or do you still need to reference other artists? Because the music equivalent is, oh, this is a Beatles moment I put in here. Oh, this is like the Pink Floyd when they did this with the vocal solo. I added that idea, and as a listener in music, I can hear that. Oh, I know they've done that. In visual art, do you have to reference other people, or is it important as a stepping stone to stop referencing others when you've found yourself? It's a big question. I'm not sure where to take it there.
I must tell you, in art is everything déjà vu. On French, is everything was done already once before, or somebody paid us already, paid us already. You know, and today you need the recognition for the school or whatever, you need us, definitely. But all these people, they go to this process, they don't become all artists. They find on the end, I have not this, I am not artist. So to go to this process, it's today necessary. Like a computer, I mean, everything is written, is a process, is also like a law. I mean, an art is also like these colors, you know, how you do it from before, you know, like Calvin, the artists, they do special colors or whatever. You must know how to do it. It's not just you put the clicks and clucks, and that's what some people, they do this. Today is not this. There's also something like written law in art is also like a book, like a law. You cannot just do something, whatever. It is written. You must know the colors, not just the letter of the colors. You must know also how to use it and what is going together with what, you know, that is the point. If you see today designer, they must find also the colors that go well with another colors. So that is also a little bit art. But they must go to this process, especially today, because some young people, they go further. They go maybe in another dimension of art, but actually, I think, I don't want to be nasty, but in Europe are a little bit further than this. You know, today I love this New Zealand, I love own country so much, and that is beautiful. I love this. But the art is also a little bit different things than pigeon and tree stones on the beach and Nico palm. That is also a little bit different. Art is a supporter of politic, culture, everything since 1,000 years. When you go back to Cleopatra, whatever, you find out this was art written and was important in any politic, because this is a culture. That is a history and a culture. So we cannot just say, oh, everybody's artist, you just make 3 dots and white cow or orange cow, and that is art. It's maybe modern.
Maybe it's expression.
Impressionistic or whatever. But that is lack of manco of knowing about the art. That is sometimes a little bit difficult to prove yourself.
And that's, I suppose, the thing I was really getting at. So you need to be able to prove yourself by saying, yes, I know the basics and a bit more of all of these forms of art.
Yes.
But I've chosen to go in this direction, and that can be demonstrated by these things. But of course, I have shown I can, and I know, and I can talk about it.
Yeah.
But you find your niche, but then that must evolve as you get older and change yourself. So you would have your own timeline of you were.
Actually, I must tell you, you can look for your way in art. Maybe all your life you don't find it. You know, a lot of artists, they die already. They even don't know they make special time. Van Gogh or whatever, the style, whatever. They are dead, but they don't know, they make something special, and they give us today, today generations, like something is there. That was written, that was painted already for them. I mean, that is for us, and we can learn. Of course, we can learn something from them. Definitely, it's not just like a. But to find your style and your way, that's need a lot of time. It's not just like click. Tomorrow I'm artist just because I can paint blue, red, and black. That is not the point.
I love this conversation. Peter, we have a question from the audience. Fauzi Hussain. Fauzi Hussain is a visual artist and also
a poet.
A poet.
Oh, I love poetry.
Kia ora, Fauzi. He says, hi, Peter. Do you think it was easier to work as a full-time artist in the past, 40, 50 years ago? It seems to me that there is more opportunities to connect with the world now, but so hard to get noticed. Thanks, Fauzi.
Fauzi, you're right. This was not easy before. When people think that before it was artists become today famous, it was not easy. And today is easier because you get the material, you can do a lot of things. And this time, in the 60s, we don't have these colors, whatever. But I mean, today is maybe a little bit easier. But the recognition today is a little bit more difficult because different taste of people today, because they become modern, they want something what they don't understand, you know what I mean? People want always something. If you tell them that is flower, whatever, they know what you tell them, they see it as, but they don't want this. They want something what is ugly, and they don't understand what is there, but they think that's, I must have it. That is the difference is there. You today to the choice something and find the clientele and find the people, you know, that is not, is I think difficult also like was in this time. But in this time, what he talked about before, there was rich people, they buy good art maybe, and collector. There was a lot of collectors in Europe in this time, they buy art cheap, and today is millions and millions, whatever. So today you make something modern, you find what is important actually today, what is easier, what he means maybe, you find somebody who is a sponsor you or your protector or whatever, and have a lot of money.
Sugar daddy.
Yeah. That is good in art. I love to have somebody like this and go in Guggenheim and have exhibition somewhere in New York or in Portugal, whatever, in big gallery. Will be nice. But I don't find nobody yet.
And that's the thing, when you wanna make a living out of it, so you wanna get to the monetary side of things, the agent becomes as important as the artist, right? When you're in that game, you need the person who will put yourself, put Definitely. You out there, right?
It is mostly. It is very good if you have somebody who protect you, who put you out, whatever. I was doing everything myself, so it was not so easy. But I find always the artist, they love my art. That is mostly a gallerist who loves my art. And what I think for the gallerist, if they like art, they can sell it. If they just take it because it's modern time, whatever they want it, they have a special line to be different. That is also good. But I mean, for me, I find the gallerist always somebody who loves my art. That's why I was looking at for. You know, somebody who respect you and love your art and see you like an artist, you know, and that's they can sell easier. It's not just about the selling. Art is not just about the selling. Art, you make it. And I have a lot of paintings, but it's not just because you must sell it. Of course, you must live, have a good life. I was working very hard, so that's why I have a little pension, so I can leave. But I cannot say I'll be making till I die. I'll be making a lot of money. If they do later, they should do it. I think so. That is good if they do. Like today, say somebody, you must die before we can sell your art. That's, I don't want it. There are still some artists in Europe, they are still alive and they sell quite very well. I love this. That is the difference. I'm in New Zealand. It's a little bit more difficult because it's not so many people like in Europe, and it's not such a price of the art like in Europe. So, but still, I think they are lovely people. They love art. Actually, New Zealanders, they love art. That is true. This is true. So we need also support from the people. They come. Also, I love the people that just come to see and make looky, like I say. That's fine. They don't need to buy all the time. But it's recognition, you know. They see you and they see your art. They say, you're here. You're new in Whitianga. Oh, la la. That we don't know. So that's nice, you know.
It's interesting. I want to ask Leo a question here.
Oops.
And then I want to fire the question over here. And I'm not sure what either of your answers will be. During my postgrad uni, I had to do a art philosophy paper, and it was so difficult. It was the first time I got into that, having to learn how to think and write. And one of the studies we went through talked about if you hear about art and it wasn't made for you or made for your context or local body. For example, the Mona Lisa. People travel all around the world to go see the Mona Lisa. This thing made by some person at a certain time in a context, and your engagement around that piece of art is around the fame so much more. 99% of it, I think I'm right here, correct me, is about the fame of the Mona Lisa. So that's why you're going to that museum.
Yeah.
Because I went to go see it. I happened to be at the museum I was in, and there was 100 people there with their phones out, and I couldn't even see it, so I gave up and walked away. So for Leo, would you think art is more valuable if people tell you it's good, or it is recognized by the people, or do you think that you need to have your own personal experience with it to even give it, like, how does it work? Would you give it a go if someone tells you it's famous and that it's great?
I think it comes to understanding the techniques of something. So, for example, I can relate to music because I play music. So I can tell a piece that took time, that took effort, that took years of studying, that took a lot of sweat and maybe tears and blood. You can tell. But sometimes you hear to something very simple that maybe it took the same, but like from someone who never had the academic background, who never had the study, but the feeling is there. And I think that's the beauty of art. So because I work at the school, when I talk to the arts teacher, I always go for those questions. I'm like, what makes this special? And she's like, I cannot explain to you by looking at the book. We would have to be in front of it so you would understand the texture, the perspective, the shadow, like, so I'm talking to a professional and she is someone who I can trust. So if it comes from someone who has studied the piece and know what it takes to do something, then I will validate that. I'll be there. I'll probably that it's not appealing to me. It doesn't move me, but I can appreciate this and I understand that there's a value to it, sometimes a very high value, much more than I think it should be, because for me it's quite frustrating because we're all artists are all keen to live by what they do, like, from that, but we only select a handful of them and we give a lot of money to them. I think it's quite unfair there, but I understand because humans do that. We kind of like to, like to praise others, but we don't support the neighbor. You don't support your neighbor who is a great artist as well. You don't even bother going and checking. Same with music.
That's sad.
Same with music, like we're going through this thing with Stu now, putting the music out there. Our friends recorded 4 beautiful tracks. We recorded the tracks and you see engagements, you see people liking, but are they actually listening to the song? Are they stopping to listen to the song, or they are just giving it cool words, oh, beautiful, beautiful paintings, oh, beautiful music. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I feel like for me, I go, and I said this before in the show, when I go I love going to galleries. Sometimes I like to have some music without lyrics, something that gets me in the flow. And sometimes I just look at the art without reading the description. I just try to appreciate that and make sense of that first.
That's the best.
And then if I'm really interested, I go and I try to get some of the historical content, context. What is this about? So I think it's quite liquid, the way that people appreciate it. Fluid,
yeah,
not
it's
liquid. No, fluid.
Your
Yeah.
relationship is fluid with it.
There you go. Yes.
Beautiful. A beautiful dance there. It was a nice dance you did.
I
Yes.
love dancing.
So then I'll fire the question around to you. Is fame or infamy as valuable or more valuable than the art itself when people travel the world to see X, Y, and Z?
It is. I think so. To travel to Paris to see Mona Lisa, it's it's a historical work. You know, you go back to the Da Vinci and all these people, back the painters, Leonardo, and all these people. That was a history, and they create something. What today a lot of people don't do it anymore in this fine art, and they see something like a perfectionism in these paintings. But there are a lot of very, very good artists today. They do this exactly the same process and quality and good work like Leonardo was doing, whatever.
So,
I mean,
is it artists like yourself that validated the Mona Lisa, not that we found this, it's historical and we'll rehash it?
No.
Is it genuinely that you can look at it and go, that it's actually very good when you get rid of all the crowds and cell phones in your way?
Yeah. It's about the artist. I mean, it's about the artists who make this. It's not just about the Mona Lisa. I mean, it's just about the subject, the portrait. It's not just about this. It's about the artist, and it's about the work. What is really perfectionism in this time and today? Some people, they don't see this, and they think that it's impossible to do this today. It's not true. There are a lot of artists that can paint exactly like Leonardo, or even better maybe, for today. That's the point. I mean, like Twombly, you know Twombly?
No.
The artist is very famous. He paints the whole wall like this, and when you go there, you think, oh my gosh, what a crap. Honestly, I should not say this because he's so famous. He has just lines and lines and lines and lines, red or white, whatever, nothing more. It's not like
I think I know what you mean now.
It's just really nothing. It's just lines. But this last pictures was on Facebook or somewhere I saw this. Has cost about $100 million. And it's just big wall like your old studio wall, and there's nothing on. It's just like lines. You can make this like your kids, they can paint like this. Maybe one red and one white, but that is all. But that's the question, is why he's so famous? Why is he so special? Because first he was lucky with his protection. He has somebody who was really support him. He find very rich people, they bought stuff. And today in this modern world, you can read what he's painting. That is actually, you must stand there for hours and hours. There are people, they are sitting there for hours and hours and watching this and try to understand. But that is also very good. To push your brain so far to try understand what is this meaning. Why is this? Not because it's so expensive, but why it's so special.
I feel like you may have created a new idiom. It's so boring, you're watching dried paint.
Yes. Why not?
For hours watching dried paint.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And then you sell the experience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things you
That's
can
an
buy.
interesting point.
Yeah, that's is the experience. Even like when you check what's happening in the online world, how people are selling products, and it's much more about the experience. Because content is available, things are available.
Of course.
Now it's hard to charge for things because you can find free things. But when you offer an experience, I think that's what we're lacking of. You know, we're so connected, but we're not. We're missing the experience element. So it makes sense that you get someone.
That's what I think the locals, the people, they should support artists. I have today a visitor. When I see him on the road, I've been never thinking he will come to the gallery. He is one of these plumbers or whatever he's doing. His good job, and of course, is for that we need them. And he come in and I was painting something. I tried to finish something before Christmas. So anyhow, he was seeing what I'm working, and he was in studio when he come in the gallery. He was watching this painting. He said, "Oh my gosh, you did this all?" I say, "Yes, I'm working also like you do." He said, but that's incredible, that is amazing. Oh my God. He was totally some person you've been never thinking he will be impressed about my work, what I'm doing. He said, I see this bit younger, I see this Coromandel. And then even if it's a modern painting, but still, he was very impressed to see artists and work. That is very big important today. The people see their work. It's not just like a finished product. He was happy to see me, and then he see the works. They was all different, and that's why he say, "You did all of those?" I say, "Yes." He said, "But they are different." I say, "Yes, they are different because I cannot paint, like I said before, one cow orange with 3 dots, and that's 10 times. I cannot. I paint from my heart, from my feelings, from my big tummy, whatever. I do this because I think I must give something so long I am alive. So long I'm here, I want to give people something to find themselves, to see something more in art, not just like a 3 clacks. And some people, they just make this because they have nothing to do and they are rich and they can buy the paint. That's easy today."
Peter, how do we find your artwork? Where do we go to see you working, and how do we have access to it?
You can visit me all the time in my gallery in Springbok.
Springbok?
52, yeah, that's
52
in Whitianga. I'm new in Whitianga. I think I will be part, even if I'm in moment just new, but still I have exhibition in Whitianga Art Group. On 3rd of the March we have opening. You are welcome all.
Thank you.
There's a 1 month exhibition there. I'm guest artist there. Then we have I am an express group. That is a printing. That is also something different, what people maybe don't understand, because it's a handwork, it's a paint, it's your work. And then I have exhibition in Wellington, of course, in Academy. I just get award last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I have also small gallerist in Wellington, Kiwi Art House, a very good one. And visit me. I have a few little exhibitions there, and I am in Whitianga in few shops, like dentist.
Yes.
So
and Matt's Cafe.
Yeah.
I love going to Matt's Cafe and seeing your paintings there.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's have a look.
So I am very happy in Whitianga, and I must say I have very good start here with Verena Tagman. She is a Swiss girl, so she brings me in this group of artists, Mercury Bay Artiscape. I'm also part of it. So she brings me there, and so a lot of artists like Gibson from Whitianga Art, Margaret Gibson. She invite me like a guest artist, and I think that is amazing. The people start to see you, and that is for me so exciting.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your
welcome,
journey,
you're
and your soul. Every time that I bring an artist here, I can feel that passion, and I really appreciate you telling your story.
You're welcome to see it and to talk more about everything. Everybody is welcome.
We'll definitely make a visit. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. I'm very happy.
Did you have fun, Mr. Roberts?
I had a lot of fun. I'm not a very visual person, but
You come with your kids.
I want to be. You know, like it's a desire. I want to appreciate it more and getting the context behind the art, or behind any story, any part of any song. You know, oh, this is about this war and this person died and their mother. You go, wow, I'm engaged. But that was really
That's
interesting.
good. Come with your kids, and then you see if they like art or not. But I'm sure they will be interesting for something what I'm doing.
Whitianga is a small town, so I live pretty close. So
Yes,
close to
welcome.
Springbok.
Yes,
There you
welcome.
go. 52 Springbok. If you are coming to the Coromandel for the beautiful summer season, make sure to check out Peter Augustin studio. It's pretty easy. You just go on Google. You are on the social medias as well. I could find you everywhere.
Exactly.
So yeah, we will leave the description there on the show. Thank you so much, team. Thanks again, Blue Ginger,
Thank
for
you
the
so
beautiful
much.
meal, for the beautiful Kai. We're coming close to the last week of the year. Oh, we gotta do it.
We gotta do
Sorry,
it.
Peter, you
Could you
gotta
please?
open.
No, I don't think so. I want
Do
to
it.
know it really.
It's the mystery there.
It's the mystery.
Is that the art, not finding out?
Here we
Jesus.
go.
Oh my God.
Just swear a big expletive.
Wait. We're gonna finish the show with that. So get that beautiful radio station voice.
Oh, something special. You have a friendly heart and a well admired. That's nice.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
What a way to finish the show.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
be
you
back
so
on
much.
Friday for our last show before Christmas, and then next week, 3 special shows to close the year. It's been a journey, Mr. Roberts.
Rock and roll.
Peace.